You think you're in control, that when you make a choice, to speak, to love, to quit, to stay, you're deciding freely. But what if you're not? What if your brain already decided for you, seconds before you even became aware of it? Every decision you make is not just logic, it's prediction, it's memory, it's the hidden agenda of a mind that evolved to survive, not to understand. This is the psychology behind every decision. Right now, you're choosing to listen. At least, that's what you believe. But scientists discovered something unsettling. In a series of experiments by Benjamin Libet, brain scans showed activity in the motor cortex before people became conscious of their decision to move. In other words, your brain acts first, you notice later. You're not choosing. You're witnessing your choice. Free will isn't gone. It's just delayed. Your conscious mind is like a news reporter taking credit for decisions made by your subconscious newsroom. And that newsroom has one goal: to protect the organism, to keep you safe, even from the truth. Your brain's first priority is not happiness, it's survival. That's why fear feels louder than joy, why pain is remembered longer than pleasure. Evolution wired your mind to exaggerate threat and minimize comfort, because the ancestors who ignored danger didn't survive long enough to pass on their optimism. Every decision you make is filtered through that primal code. From what you eat, to who you trust, to how you react when someone looks away too long. Your brain is constantly asking one silent question: is this safe? That's the hidden agenda behind almost everything you do. Your brain hates uncertainty, so it builds shortcuts, mental algorithms called cognitive biases, to make decisions faster. You see what confirms your beliefs, confirmation bias. You follow the crowd, social proof. You mistake confidence for truth, authority bias. These shortcuts were designed to help you survive. But in modern life, they distort your reality. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as your brain needs it to be.
Soft murmurs, overlapping thoughts like radio static.
Your mind edits, filters, rearranges. It hides data that threatens your comfort. That's not ignorance, that's self-defense. The truth is dangerous to the illusion of control. Every time you make a decision, from checking your phone to chasing success, your brain is negotiating dopamine. It's not asking, what's meaningful? It's asking, what feels good right now? Dopamine drives anticipation, not satisfaction. That's why you can achieve a goal and feel empty right after. The brain doesn't want completion. It wants the chase. So it keeps you busy, scrolling, comparing, planning, chasing. Because movement feels safer than stillness. Stillness forces awareness, and awareness threatens the illusion. Your mind's hidden agenda isn't progress. It's distraction, disguised as purpose. After your brain makes a decision, your consciousness creates a story to explain it. This is called confabulation, the brain's way of protecting ego. You didn't buy that shirt because it was on sale. You bought it because your brain associated it with belonging. You didn't end that relationship because it wasn't working. You ended it because your nervous system couldn't handle the emotional unpredictability.
Soft echoes of overlapping voices, rationalizations, excuses, whispers.
We call it reason, but it's really narrative. The brain isn't honest, it's efficient. It tells you stories not to explain the truth, but to protect your identity. Logic doesn't drive behavior, emotion does. Every decision begins with a feeling and ends with a justification. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio discovered that patients with damaged emotional centers couldn't make even simple decisions, like what to eat. Without emotion, the brain freezes in endless options. That means emotion is not weakness, it's guidance. The problem isn't feeling, it's misinterpreting. When fear controls you, you call it logic. When impulse drives you, you call it intuition. But emotion is only truth when it's seen clearly. Otherwise, it's manipulation by your own biology. Your subconscious mind processes information 200,000 times faster than your conscious mind. It controls 95% of your behavior. You breathe, blink, drive, text, react, without ever deciding. Your subconscious is like an invisible CEO, delegating actions while the conscious mind thinks it's in charge. That's why you repeat patterns you swore you'd break, why you attract familiar pain, why your choices feel eerily familiar. It's not fate, it's programming. You're living inside algorithms written by past experience until you rewrite them through awareness. Every moment you pause and ask, "Why did I just do that?" you interrupt the program. That's metacognition. Thinking about thinking. It's the rare state where consciousness takes the wheel. In that moment, you reclaim what's been automated. The brain's agenda isn't evil, it's ancient. It's trying to protect you with data from a world that no longer exists. But awareness, that's evolution. Awareness rewrites code. It takes a survival machine and turns it into a conscious creator. I have been asked to write a few words on consciousness in this editorial issue. My thoughts on consciousness will focus on the relation between consciousness and will. Consciousness is not an epiphenomenon as some people believe. It is not a psychological construct either. Consciousness is a brain function. With deeper thought, it is even more than that, a brain state. Writing this, I am in a conscious state, I hope at least. In everyday philosophy, a close connection of consciousness with will is ventured and is expressed in the term conscious free will. However, this does not mean that our will is totally determined and not free, be it conscious or unconscious. Total determinists postulate total freedom from nature in order to speak of free will. Absolute freedom from nature is an a priori impossibility. There is no way to escape from nature. However, we have relative freedom, graded freedom, freedom in degrees, enabling us to make responsible decisions and be captains of our own destiny. We are not totally determined. We can upregulate our degrees of freedom by self-management, or we can downregulate them by self-mismanagement. In the present, communication consciousness and the unconscious are discussed in their various aspects and interactions. The thrill you feel isn't real joy. It's your brain's reward illusion. And neuroscientists have a beautiful name for it: reward prediction error. It is a glitch with a big impact. Our brain releases dopamine. It starts to chase the feeling, not the result. The pleasure chemical is released before the reward, not after it. That is why we feel most alive in chase, and that's why almost winning feels as hot as winning. That is how your smart brain tricks you into chasing. It shapes the way you scroll, look for distractions, spend money on things that are not important, and even fall in love. Congrats! You caught your first bias. Now, let's move to the next trick your brain plays. You are not your brain. You are its witness. Every decision you make is a conversation between instinct and awareness. And every time you pause, every time you question your automatic mind, you evolve. Your brain's hidden agenda is to survive. Your soul's hidden agenda is to awaken. And the moment those two align, when survival meets awareness, that's when your decisions stop being reactions and start becoming art. You can't always control your brain, but you can learn to understand it. And in understanding, you become free.
Awareness is evolution.